Okay, man, are you ready to go?
I'm ready to go. Now, come on, now crank this motherfucker up.
Break it down like this.
Hello, Internet. Gino that Guido Greco here again with another episode of Deep Listens. And today we have played 3 games, not just one, 3 games, but they are all in the same rough genre. We've been playing Goof Em Ups. That's right, we've played Lethal Company, R.E.P.O, and Peak. Perhaps you've seen these games if you've been on Twitch at all in the last 2 years, especially the last 6 months with R.E.P.O and Peak. Joining me, as always, to discuss all things video games, Pete Busby. How you doing, Pete?
I'm doing good. Excited to play these YouTube influencer content mills. Oh, excuse me. I mean video games. An actual fun fact to talk about this week. It's about otters. Maybe the cutest
Otters?
animal. Yeah, otters.
Yay.
And what happens after they die?
Oh, no.
They never die. Why would you ask that question? They can't die.
Why
I
did
guess
you have to do this to them?
I mean, they don't have to die, I guess. But did you know that otters' bones can turn purple?
Whoa.
I didn't know that otters' bones could turn purple. No.
Yeah. It's based on the amount of sea urchins they eat. It's called, oh my goodness, echinochrome dyeing. I forget what the second word is, but that's the pigment in sea urchins that does it to them, echinochrome. So if you're an otter and you eat a lot of sea urchins, you can get purple bones and teeth.
Wow. So are there any people who have taken this fun fact about sea urchins and turned their bones and teeth purple?
Oh gosh, I don't know. I didn't even look it up. It would take a lot. Like, I mean, sea urchins aren't big.
Sea urchins
You'd
aren't
have to eat
big.
a ton as a person.
I would guess you'd have to eat a ton or have to get some sort of sea urchin extract.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I feel like we learned that people can turn orange from beta carotene. There's got to be
Or
someone
blue from colloidal silver.
Yeah, or from blue from colloidal silver. There's got to be someone who's just been so much of a sea urchin freak that they turned purple.
There must be.
I have discovered a fun fact.
Oh no,
please-
okay.
Please kick it to me so I can give you this fun fact about sea urchins.
Yeah, the Mistress of Games, M. Palladino, please give me your fun fact about sea urchins.
Hello, I have looked up can you eat sea urchins on Google, and it has told me, yes, you can eat sea urchin, but only the gonads, which are the reproductive organs.
Sure, yeah.
The only edible portion is the roe, which is, yeah, that's, so don't be shoving that whole sea urchin in your mouth. Just the gonads.
Be sure to
I mean, why
just
would you
shove
want
the
to eat anything
gonads of the
less?
sea urchin in your mouth.
Yeah. Apparently it's creamy and custardy.
It is. So if you've ever had uni sushi, have you ever had uni?
I don't know if I have.
That is sea urchin,
well,
and
probably
like you
have.
said, it's sea urchin gonads. It's
Mhm.
it's kind of
Most of the-
yellowy.
Yeah, most of the insides are not edible. They're gross.
Which part do the gonads turn you purple? I guess we'll have to find that out.
Hmm.
Well,
I didn't get that far in my research.
welcome to this show about video games. I hope you've enjoyed our introduction.
Sure.
Reminder, you can get in touch with the show. deeplistenspodcast@gmail.com is our email address. deeplistens.libsyn.com. We have our comment sections. And we also now have a Blue Sky, deeplistenspodcast.bluesky.com, I think? Social.
It's .social, yes.
bsky.social. You can also support the show on patreon.com, patreon.com/deeplistens. That's our page. At the $1 tier, you get access to the Discord, where you can talk to the host of the show and several other members of the community. At the $3 tier, you get access to the OG Soncast, which Pete, you just recorded the episode on Afro Samurai. That'll be going up soon. What's the next thing?
Oh, Gino, I am glad you asked because I am very excited for the next one. I'm not vamping to fill time at all. This is something I'm genuine about. We are watching? Yeah, watching. We are watching Planetez. Planet is? Planet ES.
Planets.
Planets, thank you. You can tell how excited I am based on how good I am at pronouncing the title.
That's a fake. That's a fake show. You've made up a fake
Yeah,
name. Of
I
a
don't
fake
know
show.
this one either.
Don't blame me. I only pick bangers.
All right.
Apparently, people have heard of this, and we're not expecting anyone to ever talk about it. So
That's always a
look
good
out for
sign.
that.
That's what you
are
want.
welcome.
And if we hit our 60 patron goal with OG Soncast tier folks counting twice, we will play the rest of one Death Stranding. We'll finish Death Stranding.
Yippee.
Yippee!
Don't you want us to do that?
Don't
After
you
we
want
had
that to
so
happen?
much fun with
How
the
much do you hate
first
us?
couple of chapters.
So yeah,
I haven't.
support the show if you can. And if you were to support the show, you might end up posting on our Discord, which could land you on the Discord report.
The Discord report. Boop-a-doop-a-doop-a-doop. This week on the Discord, are we started on our fantasy football league?
We are. The
We
draft
are.
happened this weekend.
A chaotic time.
It was
Yeah.
very chaotic. We had someone picked a defense in the second round.
Somebody also
Okay.
drafted 3 tight ends.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
Were they actually drafting, or were they not there? And so
they
that's
did
what
this
they
on
got
purpose.
stuck with. Okay.
It's great because it's one of the people who co-hosts Amateur Hour, the football show. So it's they might know about football some, but fantasy football and football are not the same thing. So they made some choices that are interesting. Let's say
This is actually the deep strategy that you are not privy to. This is
I
the
mean, you can
meta.
only, even if you wanted to play maximum tight ends, which you shouldn't, you can only play 2 at a time.
Right. But what if one of them gets hurt and then you have an extra one?
See, the thing is about tight ends, is that most of them are the same guy.
Oh,
Most of them are like a 6'6" guy who doesn't get the ball that much, and
that
who
guy is very busy.
they throw the ball to in the end zone. They are basically fungible. And so the reason why most people don't take multiple tight ends in fantasy football is because you're only obligated to play one. You can play at most 2 in a normal format with normal positions. And because of that, there's no really good reason. Like, the difference between the best tight end and the 4th best tight end, like the best tight end and the second best tight end, like they're pretty comparable. But the difference from like the 3rd best tight end to the 15th best tight end is not huge. And that's why people don't usually take them aggressively. The gap between 2 and 15 is not huge, but the gap between 1 and 3 is.
I see.
Does that make sense? It's opportunity cost stuff. You want to make sure you are maximizing the positions where there's a big difference between the players. You don't want to be taking multiples of the position where most of the guys are the same guy.
Can you put this in like a Fire Emblem terms?
Pete, you'd be better at that than me.
Yeah, I could probably do that. So, like, tight ends, again, in terms of fungibility, are like base cavalry. Like,
I
you got
see.
a million of these guys floating around, until you like upgrade them. In other words, like turn them into the top 1 or 2, they're all just on horses.
Okay. So you gotta upgrade them to like the one on a griffin or something, and
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
And then some will
see.
become great knights, and then you're just like, you're trash anyway. I didn't want you in the first place.
And that's the problem.
I understand.
The different, and so the defense, the reason why you wouldn't take a defense early, is because defenses are you know what the most important thing is for almost any defense in scoring?
Defensive power.
Are they
No.
playing the Jags
Blocking
that
people?
week?
Who the hell they're playing?
Yep.
Oh. Hmm.
If they're playing a team that can't play offense, your defense is great. If you're playing a team that's elite on offense, it almost doesn't matter how good your defense is. You're probably going to get scored on, which will impact you negatively in scoring. So defense, the reason why people don't usually take it early is because the absolute value of your defense is largely just wrapped up in who you're playing week to week.
I see.
There are some defenses that are notably better.
So you're
Those
saying
defenses-
it's swingy.
It's very swingy, and it's also the position that you can most just week to week pick up, who's available, because, you're not going to roster all 32 defenses on 8 teams. So you can just pick up whoever's playing against an awful offense that week and then use that instead of wasting an asset during your draft picking a defense. But also, most defenses, even if you've got a defense that's really good, if one of the important players on that defense gets hurt, your defense suddenly becomes bad.
Uh-huh.
And you generally don't want to invest that much in a position that is like 1 or 2 injuries away from being mediocre.
I see.
So yeah, Borgmaster, I think goofed. I think he made a mistake, but we shall see. Again, the winner of our winner of our fantasy football league will get to pick a game for the main show, unless it's me, because I always get to pick one out of 3 things for the show. We'll see. I mean, I lost in fantasy basketball 1 out of 3 years. We'll see if someone can get me in football.
What do
I
I
almost
get?
got it.
What do you get? I mean,
yeah.
I
won
pick a
2
game.
Picks. Won 2 picks on the main show.
Back-to-back picks.
Yeah.
We can do a show where we teach you how to cook a food.
Oh.
Hey, I learned to make shawarma. I've been making teriyaki chicken thighs lately. They've been good.
What?
Yeah.
You actually tasted something?
Yeah, marinate that shit. Hell yeah.
Whoa.
Yeah.
I think I told you, the time I've seen him cook, it was dire. It was very
Yeah.
bleak.
I've seen pictures of some food,
It's
and
edible.
you can certainly eat it. You probably won't have fun, but
If you
do
eat
it.
this, you won't starve. That's
Yeah,
all we can
exactly.
guarantee.
You get it. You get it.
Mhm.
Speaking of not starving,
Ah,
we
that's a
played
good one.
3 games for this week. Lethal Company, R.E.P.O, and Peak. Peak is a game you can starve in, but you don't want to. Let's start at the beginning here with Lethal Company. Lethal Company came out in October of 2023. It was developed basically by one person, by Zeekers. They were a Roblox developer, and it started in early access. Em, how would you describe the setup of Lethal Company?
You are a bunch of little guys going to moons, and you have to collect stuff, and there are monsters. Is that?
You're like little spacemen.
Oh, you gotta make money for the company.
Yeah, there's a company, Lethal Company, that is sending you to these moons. And when we say pick up stuff, we mean stuff. It's just like junk. It's like bottle caps and
spoons and mugs and axles, I think.
Yeah, and axles and all sorts of stuff like that. It's junk. But these moons that you're getting sent to are problematic, let's say. At the beginning of every level, there's usually an indoor space that you need to work your way towards, and then it's randomly, procedurally generated, the interiors of these places. The exteriors are generally the same. Like, there's some foliage that'll move around, but the overall layout is the same. The indoor spaces change from game to game. And you are wandering around these indoor spaces that can be pretty big and pretty labyrinthine. And you're looking for these items that are worth money to take out and then go back to the shuttle that you came in on. So you just load it onto the shuttle. The more goods you load onto the shuttle, the more money you will make. But the longer you dwell in these places, the more fucked up they become, the more haunted, and the more monsters will spawn in these spaces. And I would say the bulk of the game is learning when it's time to cut and run, and figuring out how to deal with the various monsters because they have different patterns. Did any monsters jump out to you or stand out to you?
There are some good, honestly, some decent monster designs. I have to remember what they're called. I'm on the wiki now, but I like
Yeah.
the Jack in the Box guy.
Mm.
Which Jester, maybe? Is that what the community calls him? Yes, Jester. So Jesters are these, Jack in the Box sort of dudes who just follow you around for a little bit. And then eventually they'll stop and they'll start cranking their Jack in the Box and it'll play Pop Goes the Weasel. And once that weasel pops and the Jack in the Box comes out, they murder everyone. So if you see this Jack in the Box, you have like maybe a minute and then you got to get out of there.
Yeah, that's an interesting one. There's some designs where if you look at the monster, it will not come at you. There's some designs where if you ever look at the monster, it will instantly come at you. There's like a toy soldier that has a little
Yeah, the Nutcracker.
the Nutcracker. You can actually kill that Nutcracker and get its gun,
Yeah.
which is kind of fun.
There's also a ghost girl,
yeah.
which only shows up to one person. So the person she's haunting can see her, and no one else can. Ooh.
There's some like monsters that'll hang out in doorways, and if you walk through that doorway, it'll jump on you and kill you. There's some little outdoor like bird monsters that will grab you and will fly away with you if you're outdoors. If you're indoors, they just fly around and get disappointed.
There's a couple guys with giant scissors that attack sort of like a rhythm mini game. Suffice it to say, these monsters have no unifying theme beyond
No.
creepiness, really.
They're just generally creepy. Like, they're weird to look at. And in this game, you start out with basically no tools.
No.
You might have some
You can buy a
keys.
flashlight, but
You can buy a flashlight, but you don't get a lot of money to start. You can eventually get a shovel and other things that allow you to defend yourself somewhat. But most of these monsters, by the time you see them, it's too late.
unless you're supposed to permanently see them, in which case don't stop seeing them.
Yes. Yes. But there are some monsters that, like, there's giants that are outside, and if you go back to the ship too late, the giants, you can't fight them. They just pick you up and they eat you, and you just die instantly. So it's really a game where you're trying to map out the space, you're trying to get as much money as you can, and then you're cutting and running. And this game, you do not have a good sense necessarily of how your teammates are doing, I would say, unless you buy certain items. Like there's some walkie-talkies you can get so you can communicate with the rest of the team. But a through line of all of the games we're going to talk about today is that there is location-based sound. So if you are near your team members, they can hear you. If you get further away from them, they will not be able to hear you. So it really behooves you working as a team and actually sticking together as best you can so that you can actually know, oh, is everyone alive or not? And then there's a lot of pressures that are trying to split you up for gameplay reasons. Like some of the items, you can only, once you're carrying them, you can't carry anything else. So you want to take those items and drop them off at the entrance to, or run them back to your shuttle so that you're not, unable to pick up items that you find. There's some enemies that will, you might want to split up so that you don't all die. There's some circumstances where, you need to climb up a ladder. And if you're carrying one of those items that takes up your hands, you might not be able to climb up the ladder super well. You can get encumbered too. So the game is really presenting this tension between getting as much money as you can and then also getting out safely and keeping track of everyone. How did you find this game? Is this the first of this genre that you've ever played?
Yeah, I mean, unless you count like Left 4 Dead, which is a similar like 4-person team-based game, but obviously is way more polished. It sort of barely has a resemblance to these. That's the closest I would have gotten. I mean, I found these games. Peak is sort of the exception, but Lethal Company and R.E.P.O are almost like aggressively uninteresting in terms of their environments. And I imagine that's just a function of the procedurally generated nature. Like you can't,
Yeah.
procedurally generate some really incredible environments. But the main gameplay loop is sort of based on jump scares, which is, I think, why they work so well on YouTube. Like you get 4 influencers on the same screen and they're doing a bunch of jump scares. Like that's going to be good content. But I found that maybe Lethal Company especially, it wore out its welcome for me in a way that like Peak held my interest more because it's not like that.
When you
Yeah.
do get jump scared in Peak, it's very surprising.
It is. It is.
Mhm. With these games, you're kind of expecting something to jump out at you. There is like the ambiance of being in the dark. But then in Peak, you're just kind of like wandering around in full sunlight most of the time. Uh, so it is scary for the very beginning, and then you're like, okay, I understand that something is going to jump out at me. So you kind of expect it. But if you have, 4 people who are reacting heavily on stream, it's very entertaining, you know.
Yeah, Lethal Company and R.E.P.O definitely get a lot of mileage out of folks shouting, oh my god, what's going on," sort of stuff. But I do think that games. I played Lethal Company at the moment when it came out, so R.E.P.O didn't exist yet, Peak didn't exist yet. And it was quite novel just how goofy the game is. Like, the animations of your characters are very. How do I even put it? They're very exaggerated
Yeah, they're
and
like
very
floppy
silly looking.
almost. Boneless
Yeah.
in a way.
Yeah, like seeing a character get lifted away and thrown away. And it's for such frivolous items that you're getting, like the absurdity of it, it's really a good slapstick comedy simulator in a way.
Mhm.
It just generates a lot of very funny situations. Um,
Yeah.
is it the best playing game? No. I think Lethal Company, it's a game where you oftentimes just die because you can't see. Like you're inside, you don't have a flashlight, and you just get lost, or you just get lost. And being in these spaces for longer than a few minutes means you're just gonna get killed at a certain
Yeah.
point. You can't really fight back against most of these monsters anyway. So I feel like Lethal Company at the time, it's definitely a game that's fun to play, or it was fun to play. I think that these other games in the genre have kind of come and eaten its lunch in a way.
Yeah.
Uh,
Lethal Company
It's
too, like paradoxically benefits from not having an ending.
Hmm.
Like you don't beat Lethal Company. You just sort of keep going until the quota you're supposed to meet gets so high that it's impossible to meet.
Mhm.
So like there's not really pressure to advance. You can just sort of like vibe out and have a good time with your bros. And then eventually you die, and you decide whether or not you want to run it back.
right.
Yeah, it is very funny. The also like some of the slapsticky nature of the game. When you turn in your items to get paid, you have to ring a little bell. If you ring the bell too many times, the character who rung the bell can just get killed. There's a gigantic tentacle that shoots out and takes all the items and then pays you. If you stand too close after you've rung the bell, it can kill you. Also,
I
um,
will.
They do this in Lethal Company too.
yep,
Yeah.
yeah.
Wow,
And
I
Repo
thought that
Repo
was a
takes
repo
that
thing.
straight from Repo. I mean, Repo takes it straight
I'll,
from Lethal Company.
I'll quibble with one thing about Lethal Company in that respect. What was that
Yep.
incredibly ugly game we played that hated capitalism?
I think you are thinking
Uh,
about Cruelty Squad.
yes, thank you. Lethal Company sort of like gestures to some Cruelty Squad stuff in a little bit, like in the fact that like you're collecting junk for these aliens and they just keep sort of raising the price higher and higher until you can't meet it and they just jettison you into space.
Mhm.
And like there's a very obvious sort of like capitalism critique there. I mean, so obvious that I don't think we really need to make it. But Lethal Company is also not interested in unpacking any of this. It's meant to be very silly and very sort of fun. And it is, but I just think it's odd that it's trying to sort of do both, if that makes sense.
Yeah, it has a bit of that critique floating around in there, but it's mostly for the absurdity and for the laughs. It's not
Yeah.
it's not trying to tell you too much about the Lethal Company as it is.
Yeah. It's not analyzing the the premise any.
No, there at no point do your characters rise up against the Lethal Company. No, you just keep wandering into those woods and getting eaten to death by woodpeckers.
Don't we all? Don't we all?
But yeah, I think this is a game that similar. Do you remember when we played PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds PUBG
Yeah, I
Yeah.
remember
many
PUBG.
moons ago?
Was I in on that? I might not have been.
It might have been
But I-
slightly before you joined.
Yeah, I remember playing it when that was the thing you did.
In the same way that like Fortnite sort of ate PUBG's Battle Royale lunch.
Exactly. I feel like Repo kind of ate the lunch here of Lethal Company. Like it just got to learn a bunch of the lessons that Lethal Company taught, and then just executed it better because it existed. It came out 2 years later and wasn't made by a single person.
I think it's worth mentioning that Lethal Company had the benefit of being right in like COVID times.
Mhm.
So it probably was just the like Among Us also was really got a bump because of quarantine. So Lethal Company, you could play it for so long with your friends when you couldn't see your friends. And then once you did that for, a couple of years, you probably want something else. So we go to like Repo, we go to Peak, we go to other stuff for some variety. Because how many times can you watch someone die in Lethal Company?
True.
Yeah, which I think gives us the segue to Repo, which came out February 2025 in early access, developed by Semiwork, which is a Swedish game development studio. Repo, which stands for Retrieve, Extract, and Profit Operation.
It's a real backwards acronym. They definitely started with repo there. That wasn't a happy
Yeah.
Oh
accident.
yeah.
I don't think they started with Retrieve, Extract, and Profit Operation. That would be very funny. And would you say this is a fair summary of Repo? What if Lethal Company starred Muppets?
Yes.
Pretty good.
Yeah. You're like these little. Are they robots? What are they?
They're like
They
trash.
look
They're like
like
R2D2s with legs, really.
Yeah. But they have very expressive eyes. And they move things with like the gravity gun from Half-Life 2.
I wanted to ask
Uh,
about that.
yeah.
So, from like a programming perspective,
Mhm.
is the reason they do that because it's a lot easier to like
It's
animate or handle
so
that
much
than it would
easier.
be if they had hands? Okay, I
Yes.
assumed.
Yeah, you just kind of like you're pointing at an object, you do a little lasso to it. You don't have to worry about like, do the hands conform to whatever you're holding? So everything in Repo is that kind of like just picking up something and it floats in front of you, and there's like a beam you have. And they do kind of like you can like make it go closer or further and stuff like that. So it's not like completely just like the gravity gun, which I think only had one setting.
Yeah, it was just suck and blow. Those are the two
Yeah.
settings for the gravity gun, really.
Yes. But yeah, you're doing like physics stuff with this one. There's like weight to the items. So you'll have something that's really heavy and you'll like have to like lasso a specific area of the thing so you can lift it properly. Because if you drop something, it will lower in value, which is uh, a recipe for disaster. I would say
I don't remember who we're collecting this stuff for in Repo.
it doesn't
Is it just
matter.
like aliens? Do they even tell us?
It's, I mean, you do have sort of a like something is in charge of you, but I don't know
Yeah.
what it is, and it's never explained. I don't know if there is a tutorial for this one, but I don't know if it tells you anything.
Let's see. I'm looking at the 22 beginners tips. I'm surprised there are that many. I'll see if they mention anything.
Yeah, probably not. It's gonna be like when this thing comes out, hide under here.
Pretty much.
Uh,
The first
Like,
one is
what-
don't drop anything. Good tip.
yeah, try not to drop things.
One of the big innovations, like the gravity gunny physics of picking up items and moving them around, I think that it allows for some nice gameplay where you need to sometimes pick up items with multiple characters, right? If you don't have a strong enough gravity gun, you can't pick up certain heavy items, so you need to use teamwork. It also, in Lethal Company, everyone has 4 inventory slots, and then you have to kind of leave. There's no ability to carry more items than that. In R.E.P.O, there's a cart you are pushing around, and you are trying to fill that cart with items as best you can. And then you can take that whole cart over to areas where you drop the items off. So Lethal Company, you're putting everything back in your shuttle, and then you're flying away. In R.E.P.O, there are a few different spots on the map that you can cash in items. At first, there's just one. You'll eventually get to levels that have multiple spots where you need to drop items off. And the totals you need to hit go up depending on how much further you get into the level.
I have looked up lore for
Ooh.
R.E.P.O. Would you like to know some lore?
I would
Please
love
do.
to know some lore.
So the people you're working for, it's the taxman who only communicates with emoji, which is like that
Right.
creepy.
Thanks, man. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like the crying smiley face. And you are semi-bots, which are like they only describe them as pill-shaped robots with 2 beady eyes. And if you look on the like Steam page with the announcements, they all say, "Hey, semi-bots." So that's what they call their players. Not sure what happened to the world because it seems as though there's been something that destroyed all the humans, which is why you are collecting stuff.
Yeah, it felt to me almost like a Little Mermaid situation where, like, she thinks a fork's valuable because she has no context for what a
Right.
fork is. In the same way the tax man wants mugs and doodads
Yeah.
and widgets because they don't know what they are.
But they do have a certain, like, diamonds are worth money. So they know diamonds are expensive. Who knows? It's never explained. There's some human group that is in the background that are a group of survivors trying to stop the taxman. But that's just from, like, I guess graffiti on the walls. There's no like actual gameplay with those. Yeah. So the lore is
That makes sense.
Feels right. Yeah.
and no one seems to think about it too hard. This is something for you to be like, I wonder what's the deal with that, and then not talk about it.
So similar to Lethal Company, in R.E.P.O, you were trying to pick up kind of somewhat useless items, and the longer you stay in a space, the more monsters will spawn in it, and the more dangerous they will be. Monsters in this, I think, take a lot of design cues, similarly from Lethal Company. Like, there's some monsters that you can't look directly at. There's some that you have to look at. Some monsters use sound to detect you. Some of them go after the items instead of going after you, which I think that's a pretty significant departure. I don't remember any monsters in Lethal Company that went after the items that you're picking up, but there's gnomes in this game. They're little jerks that will run up to your items and break them.
Did you? Well,
Yeah,
go ahead.
I have a simple point here. I'm just looking at the forum right now, and it's talking about sort of like how long you might play it. And somebody said single player about 15 hours. Could you imagine yourself playing 15 hours of R.E.P.O alone?
No, I
No.
can't. I tried playing some
Lord.
R.E.P.O alone, and it's just not. It's
Yeah.
not that compelling. alone.
It's not made for solo play.
Not for
You
15
could
hours.
do it.
Most certainly.
Yeah.
You could do way
Uh,
better than Lethal Company, I'll say that, but
True.
it's still not something I would recommend.
I mean, if you are getting all of the upgrades that you're getting from like a game where you're playing with multiple people, and you're just taking all that for yourself, you could probably last for a bit longer. But I mean,
Why would you
a
want to?
round of this is only like, I don't know, half an hour at most. So would you play 30 rounds of this by yourself?
Just
Probably
grinding,
not.
just building your
Yeah.
skills.
Yeah. I mean, it doesn't carry over into anything. Maybe it makes you better at the
Playing Repo.
It makes you better
yeah.
at Repo.
Yeah.
You can study the blade.
Build your repo skills.
I think too we should
Uh,
talk. I don't mean to jump
yes.
ahead. At some point, we should talk about the ending of Repo.
Yes, we
Oh,
should.
yeah.
The only other thing I'll say is similar to Lethal Company, where you can just get killed by turning into the items, and standing near the collection for too long. In this game, when you turn in the items and you hit the monetary limit you need to hit, a big thing just kind of falls from the ceiling and compresses all of the items, and then drops you a bag of money. And if you're in that area, it will kill you.
It will kill you. But if you have died and they put your head in there, you can get rezzed. So,
So it's an interesting. Again, these games are slapstick. Like there's some goofy things like in Repo, you can slide. Like your character can duck down and crouch. There's the ability to hide in Repo, which was not really a thing in Lethal Company. Like you can crouch down and go underneath cabinets and go underneath things. So there's like some items that let you float when you crouch. So like jump and then crouch and you'll like do this long flying dash almost. There's goofy items that also are actually functional in this game.
Yeah.
Like there's guns that work. There's bats and things that actually will kill the monsters. You can fight back. Killing monsters also gets you their souls, which you can turn in for cash. So there's a reason to fight back. I think adding combat as a viable alternative in this game makes it noticeably different than Lethal Company and gives it some extra legs. And that combat also helps with the end of the game. Pete, what happens when you die?
Segues, just incredible. Gino, you've been doing this so long, and I don't know if we say it often enough, but your skills are incredible. The ending. So Repo, you can win in a sense, like as in you can meet your money quotas and you'll get to the end. At which point you're then dropped with your fellow semi-bots into a battle royale, the winner of which, the last semi-bot standing, is declared, I think, King of the Losers. Is that the title? So ultimately, you all still lose, but one of you loses the least. So it's a nice little like twist at the end.
And for the next round, you get a little crown.
Yeah.
It's so funny. There's no reason you had to do any of that.
No.
But the gameplay draw of being like, I'm the one with the crown and I'm gonna keep my crown is very compelling.
It's a really good decision.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
I think Repo, whenever there was a choice between making something goofy and not making it goofy, they leaned goofy.
Mhm.
Like you've got the
it doesn't
character.
have-
You could do facial expressions too,
Oh yeah.
which is
Those
really
are
fun.
great. You could do like angry eyes on your little guy. You could do like shocked. It's good.
And I don't
Like,
think we said it, but like Repo actually lets you see where your teammates are. Like they give you an item that lets you see where people are. It shows you the map. I feel like in Lethal Company, a lot of your deaths come from just simply getting lost because it's a dark space and it's hard to remember. If there's 50 rooms, like how many turns did you have to make to get back out to the exit? And in Repo, they just let you see the map. It's a little zoomed in, but at least you don't get completely lost in the same way.
Yeah, Lethal Company had like an edge to, it still exists, has an edge to it in terms of like the gameplay and the themes in general. Whereas Repo was just like, we're sanding all that down. It's goofy top to bottom.
Goofy top to bottom, more fun as a result, but there's definitely a bit of grime that has been lost was compelling to a certain degree. And if Repo is Lethal Company with the edges sanded off and prettied up a little bit, Peak feels like it takes the same general formula of 1 to 4 people goofing around and takes it to a completely different genre of game. Like Lethal Company and Repo feel almost like first person. I mean, they're first person, but they feel almost like first person shooters where they forgot to give you a gun.
Sure.
You know, you're being stalked by things and you have no ability to fight back against them. Peak is what is Peak?
Peak is a game where you are a bunch of Boy Scouts or Girl Scouts. They're scouts in general, and you are going somewhere, and your plane crashes, and because you know the first rule of scouting, it's to climb to the highest point on the island you're on, and in order to do that, you have to like climb up and up and up a series of progressively hazardous mountains. And when you get to the top, are you rescued? I don't know. I never got to the top.
Yeah, same.
I think of it as like it's exclusively the exploration bits from Breath of the Wild.
Yeah, that's a fair way to put it.
You played Breath of the Wild differently than I did, I think. No,
This
you're
came out
right.
in-
I remember now.
Yeah, there's
You're-
climbing and a stamina
You gotta
bar. It's all
climb.
good.
You gotta
Yeah.
stamina.
Yeah, I mean,
see
it's got Genshin Impact also has that.
Mhm.
You know, like for a while after Breath of the Wild, every third-person action game decided you needed a stamina meter and you needed to be able to climb on everything.
Right.
And Peak definitely takes that same format. It
What
came
if that
out
was
in-
all you did?
Yes, what if that was all you did, and we also gave you some goofy stuff to help you with the climbing. This came out in June of 2025, June 16th, 2025. Because it is not as aggressive about monsters coming to kill you, I feel like Peak it's a more enjoyable game for me. I don't know about you two than
Oh,
Repo
100%.
or Lethal
Yeah.
Company.
Oh yeah.
Absolutely.
hmm I would play way. I think I did play way more Peak than I played any of the other two.
You could
Um,
talk me into playing this single player too. It would
Oh,
still
yeah.
be less fun, but it would be tolerable.
I've played it
I
single
did
player
try
and
it.
it's good.
Mhm. Yeah.
So, like, it's a climbing game. You got a certain amount of stamina for climbing things. You eventually, the longer you stay in the game world, you will get hungry. You can alleviate that by eating some wild foliage that is around. You can also find luggage, which are basically treasure chests that have useful items in them. Sometimes it's food, sometimes it's climbing equipment, sometimes it's balloons that help you, get long jumps and stuff like that. This game, like the upgrades matter so much. And your ability to carry items around is really limited. You get 3 inventory slots by default, and then there are backpacks, and the backpacks can have up to 4 items, but you can't access those items without taking off your backpack and opening it up. So
weight
there's a lot
also
of inventory
decreases.
management.
Weight also decreases your stamina.
Yes. Stamina is basically your 1 meter for everything. So if you get hungry, that eats away at stamina. If you have weight, it eats away at stamina. If you get poisoned, that eats away at your stamina. And if you get injured, if you fall from too high, that'll eat away at your stamina. And you die when your stamina hits 0 and you can't get it higher, basically. How did you find the act of just like figuring out what food was and was not edible?
It's fun, but I could not remember for the life of me what food was poisonous or not. So,
Did you just not eat anything? Just
I
start
Yeah.
just
the
chunked
death
it on all
punch.
mushrooms. Yeah, I was
I
like, if
would
I
just
saw a
be like,
mushroom, I just assumed it was poisonous.
I was just like, I could probably eat this, and then I would start to get poisoned. And I would be like, well, I've learned nothing.
Also, I carried that damn bugle around so long before I was like, so it does nothing. Great, cool.
It does
Okay.
do something.
It does
Here's
one not useful thing.
okay,
Did you
but
play the bugle for the capybaras?
Yeah, you get an achievement. You get like a
Yeah.
yeah,
capybara award. It's not helping me make it
here
up the mountain, Gino. I'm dying on this mountain.
there's a lot of items that are in the starting area that just don't do anything.
Yeah.
Did you
But
carry Bing
I've
Bong?
I
always
carried
Bing
Bing
Bong.
Bong forever.
Yeah,
Okay,
you
good.
gotta
As long
carry
as we all
Bing Bong.
agree, Bing Bong must be saved.
Yes, Bing Bong is the best of us. The use case for the bugle, I was playing with my brother, and he was playing on the what's the console version of the Steam Deck,
Mhm.
and his audio was very low, and so we couldn't hear him if he was like further off than a certain couple of meters. So I would be like, Rob, play the bugle, and then I would hear the bugle. So I don't know. That's probably not. That's some emergent gameplay for you, I
That's
think.
it, yeah.
Uh, so it didn't do anything until that moment. I was like, oh, it's actually useful for one thing. I
That's
don't know.
something.
Your mileage may vary, which I think is the case for all these games. Um, like the actual emergent stuff is what is interesting, especially in this one, because there's so many varieties of ways you can get up the mountain and also ways you can die. It's not just something killing you and you didn't see it because it was dark, you know?
hmm
Yeah, this one gets a lot of mileage. I mean, makes sense for a game about climbing a mountain. Out of its environmental hazards. Like there's cold winds that can freeze you. If you get in the sun for too long, you'll get too hot. You know, the rain comes and makes it hard to climb. Like the biomes genuinely feel different as you move between them.
Yeah, the one thing I would say about many of those environmental hazards is the correct move when you encounter most of them is to stay still and wait it out. So, like, if it's raining, you wait till it stops raining to start climbing again. If it's windy, you find a place to hunker down. You wait till it stops being windy. If you're in the desert and the sun is burning you, find a place with shade. Wait until the sun goes down and it stops burning you. I kind of wish there were more answers. Some of them, like the real answer is to find an item that counteracts the problem. Like there's a torch that you can use if there's cold to warm you up faster. There's sunscreen that can deal with the blinding sun. So there are answers that the game will provide you, but some of them are just random, right? Like, did the
I
luggage
mean,
have the item you needed?
yeah. The other thing is you could just take a bunch of damage and maybe you'll still make it.
Mm-hmm.
Like if you are in the mesa and it's really hot, you can take a bunch of heat damage, and as long as your stamina doesn't go all the way down, you might still make it. Just because that's like gonna go away eventually, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So you just got to be conscious of like what you have available and how you can use it to get the rest of the way. But then there are cases where it's like there are 4 tornadoes in front of me and I keep getting bounced into cactuses, which is a situation that I had.
I mean,
Um,
as a resident of Tucson, Arizona, that is a big problem in the desert.
it's a it's a
You hate when
constant problem.
Yeah, it's
the
awful.
tornado picks you up and throws you to the cactuses.
Yeah, it throws you into the
Yeah.
cactuses all the time, and you can't touch the saguaros because they're endangered. So I mean, you got two problems.
Did you ever encounter the antlion?
Yes. What is the antlion?
Oh, well, you see, when you're in the mesa, which is the desert environment, there's mirages, which are a real bummer when you see a mirage luggage, and it just vanishes as you get close to it. But there's one where if you get close, if you see a luggage at the bottom of a sand pit sort of shape, watch out for that, because if you go for it, it is probably an antlion, which will the luggage will be replaced by a large ant monster that will try to eat you.
Yep.
I did
Those
get
are
an
real
achievement
things.
for surviving an attack by one, though.
Oh, nice. Yeah. The Mesa is the newest area, and so it has a lot of the wilder ways of killing you. I never
either
actually
of you,
got. Oh, yeah.
did either of you ever get blown up by dynamite?
Oh,
Yes.
yeah. All the time.
How about stung by scorpions?
No,
Um,
scorpions never got me.
yeah, I've had them coming after me, and I usually can like pick them up and throw them off the mountain. And that deals with them.
The mistake I made once was I picked one up and didn't throw it immediately.
Oh, and then it starts
No.
to sting you.
And it's
That's a
very
snake?
funny. There's a delay before they start stinging you, and it's very slapstick and funny.
What else?
What's your favorite
There's-
environment in Peak?
I think I like the rainforest. I think it's the prettiest one.
The
Is it actually
rainforest is
called? I don't think
nice.
it's called rainforest, is it?
Tropics, I believe it's called.
Tropics.
yes.
Thank you. That's my favorite.
I do like not for actually playing it, because I think it's kind of one of the most difficult ones. I do like the conceit of the caldera, which is just like a big lava field, and instead of climbing vertically up, you have to go like jumping across rock pillars in order to get to the other side, where there's like uh, a little shrine and then a volcano. I don't like the volcano as much, but I think it's interesting to have the climbing game go like horizontal instead.
Yeah, I think that it changes the gameplay up a lot. That's probably why I think it's my favorite, just because it asks something different of you than all the other levels do. Most of the other ones, there's just sections where it's okay. Now it's hard to go vertical. Hope
Yep.
you have something that helps you go vertical. And the reason why it's hard changes from level to level. Like the tropics, it might be, oh, there's rain, or there's poisonous plants on this place where you could be resting, but instead you got to go around it because there's poisonous plants that'll hurt you. There's the icy level, which some spots you can't really climb on because they give you frostbite, or in the mesa, sometimes there's a lot of overhangs and dynamite that makes it hard to climb vertically. I like just challenging you with long jumps in the caldera. Also, it's just novel from the floor is lava perspective.
Yeah.
True.
It makes the whole game into a game of the floor is lava, and that's really fun.
Uh,
None of us summited, right?
No.
What?
I mean, I watched
No.
YouTube videos to pretend I could. But
What happens if you do it?
you shoot off a bunch of flares, and a helicopter comes and picks you up.
Nice.
Yep.
That's what I figured would happen.
Unless you get too far, if one person gets the end too fast, then the scoutmaster shows up and throws you off the mountain.
Yeah.
This happened to Harley when we were playing one time. Harley scouted all the way up to the top of the first mountain, and I think it was my brother and I were playing, and we were up at the top, and then we hear Harley go, "What the fuck is that? What? as Harley was thrown from the top of the mountain all the way off the mountain.
Yeah,
And the
Scoutmaster's a real,
Scoutmaster's scary.
a real Slender Man looking dude.
Yeah, it's like bones and long and weird guy. You see that coming for you, you're like, I'm not going that way.
And when you,
Yeah.
as Gino said, there's like proximity chat and proximity voice, so you have to be close to people to hear them. But once you die, you become a ghost, and then you can haunt people and just yell at them the whole time.
Yeah, that is worth mentioning. The ability to like kind of look around from a third person perspective is actually really useful at times. I had some times where I would die pretty quickly. And then I would just be like, all right, I'm the scout now. And so I'm going to help you find a path upward. And you can like pull out a little bit, kind of see the full scope of things. And in Repo, you don't get to communicate to the living characters. You just kind of are in a dead zone, and you can talk to other ghosts, but you cannot talk to the people who are actually playing the game. But you can hear what they're saying, which is nice because we have the proximity chat thing, and maybe we're like alone in the dark, and then all of a sudden you can hear someone being like, "Hello, where is everyone?" It's fun.
Yeah, the ghost thing
It's a
is
different feel.
it helps so much, honestly, because in these games, like Repo and Lethal Company, you can only talk to the living can only talk to the living, the dead can only talk to the dead, which means if you die first, you just are chilling, right? You don't get to play. It's got that same
Be dead for a
problem that
while.
a lot of board games
Yeah.
can have, where like if you lose early in a board game or in poker, whatever game, it's no fun to just sit and watch everyone else get to play. At least
Right.
you can communicate with people and look around at slightly different perspectives so you can help. Um, Another thing worth mentioning is that if you get to the top of these mountains without anyone dying, they give you an item that is pretty useful, generally speaking. It varies from, statue to statue, but the list of items the statues can give you in place of respawning your friends is generally pretty big. Like they're powerful stuff. There's like a bugle you can blast at people that makes it so that they have infinite climb while you're playing music at them. There's anti-gravity ropes that go up instead of down, and because they are anti-gravity, they also offset your weight,
Yep.
which is really
But they
useful.
will, if you drop them, they will float upwards and float
Yeah,
away,
it will float away.
which we had happened to us at some point where I was like, "How do you use this?" And then it just went, "Wee." I was like, "Well, we'll get them next time."
Yeah.
It's
Any
good.
other thoughts on Peak?
Yeah, there was one thing I wanted to talk about. This is sort of ancillary to the game, but there was a recent controversy in some areas of the internet over a Roblox ripoff of Peak called Cliff. It was more or less almost a one-to-one rip, but it sort of renewed the discussion around how Roblox's business model is mostly built on IP theft.
I mean, Roblox is not making these things. It's people who are designing them based on things they've seen. Roblox is a whole thing that we're hopefully never gonna even come close to looking at.
Oh, I
But
I
got
mean,
bad
this is
news for
probably the
you, Em.
closest.
It is
fuck,
my pick.
no.
This is probably the closest we'll get. Like,
Mhm.
Lethal Company was designed by a Roblox player, and
Right,
these games probably don't exist without Roblox. Like these are some of the games that the Roblox generation is now making in
right,
some ways.
yeah.
I'm not sure
Uh,
exactly what Roblox is.
Roblox is like a you can like design your own game in it.
Okay,
Uh, it's profiting off child labor basically.
sure.
Um, you're just like a little like Lego looking guy. And there are, it says, millions of user created games, officially referred to as quote experiences, all created using a dialect of the programming language Lua and the platform's game engine, which is Roblox Studio.
This
Um,
this statistic can't possibly be true. This is on the Wikipedia page. According to the company, the monthly player base includes half of all American children under the age of 16.
I believe that.
I like
Horrifying.
that. It's incredibly popular with kids,
Mhm.
and you can make money in Roblox.
Yeah.
You know, if you make a good game and sell it, people can buy those games with Roblox, and the cut is
Yep.
incredibly disadvantageous for the developer.
Oh
You
yeah.
don't say.
Yeah. There's like a whole. We could we could talk about the weird stuff with Roblox all day. Um,
I didn't mean
there's
to open a can of worms here. Clearly, I
it.
have.
I'm just gonna read off the Wikipedia page. It has faced heavy criticism for its content moderation, which in turn has led to a large amount of sexual or politically extremist material on the platform. It has also been criticized for its alleged exploitive practices towards children and microtransactions. It has been blocked completely in China, Turkey, Jordan, Qatar, uh, which is probably better off. Yeah. I mean, as a concept, like I'm all about getting kids to learn how to make games. As a game maker, I kind of have to be, but uh, in practice, the way that Roblox is doing it is probably not the best.
Bad. I think bad. I think is probably the word.
Yep. Yeah.
Less Roblox, more Little Big Planets.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
See, if Little Big Planet was on the PC, I think it would have been the bigger one out of
Yeah.
these.
Or if it
or
had
Mario
more,
Maker.
or if it
Yeah.
had more sexual and politically extremist content.
Ah,
Oh, you're not
there
playing
we
my
go.
Little Big Planet levels, I see.
I don't know how you would even get. I'm not gonna think about it. I don't want to think about it. Um, before we get off the subject, did you have any really standout moments in playing these games with your friends?
Well, yeah, if you check out the Deep Listens Blue Sky account,
Mhm.
you can see one of my great moments when I wasn't playing so well. We got to the volcano at the end, and the only way forward appeared to be to use the scout cannon,
Oh yeah, got to.
The
which
scout cannon is always a trap. You should never
Yeah.
use the scout cannon.
Never
the
works.
scout cannon is an act of desperation. It is a cry for help if you were using the scout cannon. And yeah, I got loaded into the scout cannon, got shot at a wall that we thought maybe I'd be able to, bank shot onto like
Just stick
someplace
to it.
safe. And instead of sticking to it, I bounced off of it and then went and then fell to my
And then
death.
fell all the way down the volcano.
Yeah, that checks out.
Just right down the center. It's and ZP, who was watching, just watched you do that, and then went, "Oh, he dead."
That was very
Yeah, that
good.
was a standout moment. I think. I wish I had gotten Harley getting thrown off the mountain by the scoutmaster, but I only had that from my perspective.
I had plenty too where this happened more times than I'd like to admit, where I pulled out an emergency baton and
Yep.
instead of plunging it into the mountainside, just threw it straight down into the abyss.
Yeah. Yep. We had a lot of contention on how to pronounce that word.
Piton.
I've heard
Python.
Python, Piton. Uh, everyone seems to pronounce it slightly differently.
Carabiner.
Hmm.
Yeah, like that. A lot of that. Do you have any other standouts for you? I guess just Harley getting thrown
Oh
off the
man,
mountain.
Harley getting thrown off the mountain. There was one time where I think it was ZP was in the distance when we were doing the mesa, and just gets like clobbered by a tumbleweed, which only like knocked him over, but it was very funny. Because there's no need for that, but it was hilarious to watch it happen in the distance.
Yeah, ZP wandering off drunkenly was pretty funny a few times it happened.
ZP streamed a lot of this game when we were playing it, and I said in the Discord, someone else needs to stream this because watching ZP do it is infuriating. I think was my word for it. Because ZP will just wander off and then be like, "Where is everybody? Hello, where is everyone? I'm hungry." And then you look at his stamina bar and it's like 1 tick of hunger. And I'm like, you're lying. You're just lying.
Yeah, playing with
Uh,
him is kind of a second screen experience. You need to have his stream up
mhm,
to know where he is and when he's lying.
yeah. Yeah.
But that was fun. Like it's funny. Like all this stuff, I think makes this game. The slapstick nature of it really works. I think that the having an opponent that is like this mountain that is climbable and that changes every day on a set 24-hour clock. You
Yeah,
know,
that's
like
wild.
you can always just try again tomorrow.
Mhm.
And everyone's attacking the same mountain for a day. So it kind of builds a community around the game for that reason. I think it's a really elegantly designed one of these. The fact that it took a gameplay language that's different from just spooky haunted house jump scare stuff, I think it does a great service to this game, and I think Peak is kind of the path forward for this genre in a way. Um, you could probably apply 4-player goofy uh, location based sound to other gameplay genres beyond just first person horror and climbing. You could apply this to different gameplay types, and I think it would really work well. Any other thoughts
Yeah,
on the Goof Em Ups?
allow me to do a service to our community. Let's see if this works.
Piton.
Did y'all hear that?
One more time.
Piton.
That was
Piton.
Piton.
Eton.
Piton.
Eton.
Okay.
Titan. Got it.
Yeah. All right. These games are good. I mean, I don't know if we said it outright, but if you want to play Peak sometime, drop in the Discord. I'm sure everyone will be willing to play it for the foreseeable future. We put in how many hours would you say did you peak?
Let me see. Let me see how often I peaked. How much Peak did I play over the course of this? Peak. I played it for 13 hours.
Wow. I played 8 hours. So
I played a good amount solo, just trying to see how I could do solo. And this is the most fun of them to play solo, for sure.
Oh
It
yeah.
Oh yeah, 100%.
It is the most fun.
Depends. Yeah, it depends on the mountain you have, but it's way more viable to play this solo than either of the other two.
Yeah, so for reference, I played R.E.P.O for about 3 hours, Lethal Company for about 8, and Peak for 13.
8 feels like a lot of Lethal Company to me.
Well, I played it mostly when it first came out.
Okay.
Mhm. So it could have been
So like 8
what?
COVID hours is like 2
Right.
non-COVID hours.
Exactly.
Yeah, I played 6 hours of R.E.P.O. Did you ever have a R.E.P.O game that just went on like way too long?
That's another thing is like R.E.P.O does not get more fun the longer you survive.
Yeah. We had we were playing, I think it was ZP, Arbitrary Water, and then we had some other people who I did not know. And they actually like knew how to play the game. And so we just went for like, I don't know, 12 rounds. I was like, it's getting like difficult, but not more fun difficult, you know?
Yeah, it doesn't get more interesting the longer you're surviving.
Yeah.
At a certain point, you either have weapons or don't, and you are able to get the items or not, but it's not as though the gameplay really evolves. You can run into difficult monsters on the first level, you can run into difficult monsters on the last level. You probably will run into difficult monsters on your last level, and that's why you'll die.
Yes.
But it's the gameplay doesn't meaningfully change, which is
But
a shame. Whereas Peak, every level changes radically.
Yeah, at a certain point, you're like, okay, I'm gonna walk off a cliff or something just to wrap this up, because otherwise, it's never gonna end.
There were also a lot
That's
of times where I no longer had the stamina to make it up the mountain, but other people
Mhm.
did, and then you just got to yeet yourself off the side and hope they revive you.
I've been in that situation too. sometimes you like fall a long way and then you're like hurt and you got like 1 tick of stamina left. You're like, I'm gonna be better off as a ghost, I think.
That was another good final Peak story. One time I fell down real far and got real hurt. And if you get hurt in Peak, the first thing that happens is all of your items just drop out of your inventory because that frees up weight, so that if you have any ability of surviving, it'll give you that chance, so that you don't just die because you're weighed down by stuff. And so I took a ton of damage, and I had like a pip or 2 of stamina left after all of my inventory dropped out. But you see, I was the carrier of Bing Bong.
No.
I was the Bing Bong Meister. So I took Bing Bong, and I said, "You live, Bing Bong. I can't, but you can." So I threw him as far up as I could, and hoped that someone would take Bing Bong for me. And then ZP found my corpse and found Bing Bong, and he carried Bing Bong for a little while. And then ZP got really injured and could not carry any further, and so he put Bing Bong into the sun so that Bing Bong could know warmth. And then we died. We didn't finish that climb, but
Heartbreaking.
At least Bing Bong got to see the sun one more time.
yeah, Bing Bong got his day in the sun.
Beautiful.
All right, that I think does it for Goof Em Ups for Peak, Lethal Company, and R.E.P.O. Pete, it is now your turn to pick once again.
It is my turn, and as Gino said, Peak came out in June of this year, and that's not the Deep Listens way. That's not how we do things here. So I'm going to give you a choice between 3 games, all of which came out at least 3 years ago,
Okay.
which is much more Deep Listen style. I'll give you genres. So we can play like a sort of bullet hell survival deal. We can do an action platformer, or we can do a sort of like adventure base builder kind of thing.
I don't think we've played a bullet hell thing maybe ever.
Yeah.
Not until what was the one where you're in hell or whatever, and the graphics are real weird?
Oh, that was
Hades.
No, not
no
Hades.
Devil Daggers.
Yes, thank you. All right.
That was a first-person shooter.
Yeah, but it was sort of bullet helly.
Yeah,
You had
kind of.
dodge stuff. This one, it's not quite bullet hell, but there is bullet hell aspects to it. Whatever, we'll play that one then. We are going to play Vampire Survivors.
Oh, hell yeah.
Yes. I like this
Hell
one.
yeah.
I have this on my tablet now, and I'm like, I can't get into it again.
I've played Vampire Survivors for 24 hours.
I played a lot of it. Hold on, let me look at my not Campfire Survivors. Vampire Survivors. I have
Survivors. Hell yeah.
Yeah, I have 25 hours on Steam.
Then
All
you're
right.
familiar with the game then. All right.
Yeah, it whips.
Guessing.
Have you played
Get
it?
Oh, this will be my first time.
Oh,
Great.
you're
Oh,
in
you
for a
lucky
treat.
soul.
What were the other games, out of curiosity?
I think slightly more obscure ones. Kunai and Forager were the other 2.
I think we made the right choice.
Okay, yeah. Maybe we'll get to those.
All right, next time we're playing the little indie darling that could, Vampire Survivors.
Sorry, I just queued up
Yeah.
the trailer. Those are the first 3 seconds for everyone.
All right, well, thank you, Pete.
Yeah, always a pleasure.
Thank you, M.
Thank you. Get Goof Em Ups spreading around. You heard it here first. We're coining the term that Gino has declared these games of a genre. So when that starts to spread, make sure it comes back here.
Oh man, is that not?
I don't think that's a real term. I think you made that up.
I've never heard it.
I googled it. It did not come up.
And Google knows
Okay.
everything.
Make sure that if I came up with that term by accident, trademark. All right. Thank you, dear listeners. Reminder, you can get in touch with the show. deeplistenspodcast@gmail.com is the email address. deeplistens.libsyn.com. That's where you can find the show and our comment sections. deeplistenspodcast.bluesky.social. That's where you can get at us on social media. And you can support the show on patreon.com/deeplistens. Till next time, peace.